Hey guys, Kevin here again for another week where we talk about all things real estate related. If you guys are watching this video on Facebook or Instagram, please check us out on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're notified of all our videos coming forward. These videos are for you, so anything you guys want to know about the real estate market, about investing, put it in the comments. I will make sure I help answer those questions in the future. I want to say a big thanks to all of you who have started to actually input your questions, giving me some ideas on what you guys want to know about and what's going on in the real estate market. So like every week, we're going to go through what we're seeing in the market week by week. But this week especially, we're going to talk about the number one type of property to avoid buying in this market. So stay tuned to find out what that is. All right, perfect. So let's start off and take a look at what is going on in the Ottawa real estate market. All right, so taking a look at this graph, these are actually stats that my team pulls specifically every week on a Thursday before our team meetings. So you can see the last few weeks, week by week. The first section is the new listings by week. The second section is the conditional sales. Then we have the firm sales, the price drops, and the cancellations. So you can see that the new listings by week is staying about the same. It actually went up last week as opposed to the week before. But the firm sales, that third column, is actually going down. We're also seeing price drops going up and cancellations going up. So taking a look at these numbers will tell us a few different things. One is we're going to see the inventory is on the rise, and we are seeing the cancellations go up and the price drops go up. So we can see that it is getting more difficult to sell, and the firm sales obviously also going down. So I do want to give a disclaimer because these are numbers that we pull out every week on a Thursday morning, but the numbers can actually change pretty significantly from day to day. But by doing it around the same time every Thursday, it gives us a pretty good picture of what's going on. We see that cancellations are up, price drops are up, and sales are down, while new listings are actually on the rise. And this is going to help us predict what we're expecting in the near future of the market. The next graph is going to show the average home price in Ottawa week by week over the last 4 years. So I will give a disclaimer for this one as well, because when we're looking at the sales week by week, we can have the data skewed when we have a lot of multi-million-dollar properties sold in 1 week, or maybe a lot of very low-end properties sold in a week, and you see the numbers jump around a little bit. But if you follow the trends, you can see that while the price of a home went up from the low 600s up into the mid 700s, we now see the average price of the home sitting around the mid 600s, which is actually more comparable to the prices that we saw last year this time than only a few months ago this year. Now, I'd like to pull up both of these graphics because one is showing us where we are today, whereas the other one is breaking it down and helping us predict where we're going to be tomorrow. And so I think that most of you are going to be able to tell that we are predicting the numbers are going to continue to go down in the short term here. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to shoot this video today, and a question that we got on a video a couple of weeks ago, as well as I'm getting calls about almost every day, is what is going on with the new build home prices. For those of you who have been watching the videos or maybe following the market, you know that we're on a very similar trend that we saw last year, where prices peaked in March and we saw them actually continue to decline until about August. And I'm seeing the same thing in the market now. And that is where it is impossible to time the market, and that's why in our videos we do talk about if you find a home that you like, that you can afford the payments on, that it's always a good time to buy because you're always going to see it go up in the long term. But one thing I want to focus on in today's video is talking about the one type of property that I would not look at buying right now, and that is going to be a new build. The new build home prices were traditionally always a good deal because you could buy at today's prices and take advantage of the closing date a couple of years out and having the equity build up in that time in between. Today, the builders are now pricing based on expected price increases. So I don't want to cause problems, and I'm not going to name any of these builders by name, but it's very simple to just take a look at the builders in your area, take a look at what they're charging for new builds right now, and take a look at what the homes are actually listed for that are currently on the market. You're going to see a major discrepancy between a home that is just 2 years old, what it's selling for, versus a home that's expected to be built next year and what they're trying to get for it. Now, I see two major issues with what's going on right now, and that's why I want to spend some time on it. One is I see a lot of sellers who are basing their home's value based on what the builders are selling their homes for. So we have someone who has a model, that's just 2 years old, and they have all these upgrades on it, and they see what the builder's charging for the new builds right now, and they think, well, I have $50,000 worth of upgrades, so my home's got to be at least worth what the builder's base price is. Now this is way off, okay? I saw a townhome last week in Barrhaven that was only a couple years old, tons of upgrades in it, sell for $130,000, less than the base price that the builder is currently selling them for. So on one hand, we have people evaluating their homes not based on what is selling, but the builder prices. But on the scarier side of things that I'm starting to see more and more often right now, I can count at least 5 people that I've talked to in the last couple of weeks that have actually purchased new builds. They own a home already, and they were either closing this summer, in the fall, or in the winter. And when they purchased, they assumed that their home that they own was going to be worth a certain value. And now the discrepancy between the new build price that they paid and what they're worth on the market is growing significantly. Now these people are going to get themselves into trouble when it comes to needing the down payment to close on these new builds. Over the last couple of years, a lot of these builders have stopped allowing people to assign. Now the reason that the builders have done this because they didn't want people who were buying new builds as a business, where they were buying it, they were holding it onto it for the values to increase, and then they were selling it and keeping the money for themselves. So the builders have blocked assignments so that people are not being able to make money on them. But now we're seeing things change. Well, the money is actually not being made. The prices are going down compared to what the builders are charging. So what are these people supposed to do when they can't assign their home, but they also can't close on the new property because the home that they own isn't going to sell for what they needed and the value hasn't gone up? I actually got a call from a homeowner just yesterday who explained to me that he bought his new build last year and he saw that the prices were going to increase, so he bought a new one closing next year. It's the exact same model, but the price discrepancy, again, is about $150,000. And how does it make sense for him to sell his current home to buy the same home at a much higher price with only a couple of years difference? I know any builder who's watching this right now might be tempted to comment in the comments saying that I am steering people away from new builds because as a realtor, I'm not paid the same commission. And that is completely true. But what I'm saying is also completely true. I'm shooting this video today because this is actually what people are telling me. This is the scenarios that people are going through. I even have a home listed right now where the seller has a closing date in August, and he was basing the sale price of his home on what the new builds were going for, and he has a huge discrepancy, and he's really not sure what he's going to do right now. And so, again, like anything, I can't predict the future, but this is one of the scariest situations that I'm seeing with the auto market. I think overall, we're always seeing it ebb and flow, go up and down, but the long term, we do have a housing shortage and we're going to see it come back. But with this huge discrepancy of the new builds, I am seeing issues with people being able to close on the properties. I don't know what the builders are going to do. Are they going to be able to allow people to assign again just so they can get their money back? Are they going to be keeping people's deposits? I don't really know what we're going to see, but I do know that we are going to see something because it is the overwhelmingly common theme that I'm getting calls about right now is people very concerned about what they're going to do with their impending new build close because their home values are not what they expected to be. When they were only basing it off of what the builders were charging, they weren't consulting realtors or what people expect to see in the market. A lot of these people out here are just basing off of the builders charging that, so that must be fair market value. But that's why I'm shooting this cautionary video today to tell you that they are so far apart. The discrepancy between the current market value and the new build prices is where I see the biggest potential for financial issues for those people who have bought those homes or based their home values based on those prices. I guess I'm going to wrap up this point with my third disclaimer of the video. I don't want to cause alarm. I don't want to cause panic. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future. I only shoot these videos based off what I'm seeing and what people are wanting to know about what's going on in the market. If you purchase a new build, I'm sure you're all right. Like I said, the numbers go up and down, but overall, we are going to see the numbers continue to rise in Ottawa. It's a stable market. But I will say this, if you are a buyer looking to get into the market, considering resale versus new build, I would 100% be looking at resale. The bang for the buck is massively different. There's actually a lot of homes right now that were purchased by investors that are new builds that no one's ever lived in that are currently for sale on the market. There's also a lot more homes that are a year or 2 years old that have already gone through all the Terry warranty quirks and deficiencies and been fixed up, that are like brand new, mint condition, selling for a lot less than the builder is charging. You can also get in the home today, start paying down the mortgage today, as opposed to continuing to rent for the next 2 years to pay a much, much higher fee. If you're one of the people watching this video and you're saying, oh wow, he's describing me to a T, I own a home, I need a certain amount for it to close on my new build that's coming up, what do? You can always send me a message. I can take a look and see what I think I can do to help. Or you can take a look at your builder contract, see do they allow assignments, what other scenarios do they have. I know in the past we've had people go to the builder saying they need to assign it. The builder has said no, but if you want, we'll give you your deposit back and you can walk away from the property. Now that were in different times when in fact the price that they paid was significantly lower than what the builder was now selling. So I don't really know what the builder is going to say these days when the prices are starting to go the opposite direction. But if the builder isn't cooperating, you can always talk to a lawyer and see what your options are. Again, I'm not shooting this video to have anyone panic, but like I mentioned before, I do have a seller who is in a very tight scenario, and I'm seeing more and more situations like this happening. So it is best that you start planning and looking at worst case and best case scenario. What are you going to do if the home prices continue to go down and your new build date continues to approach? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I'm trying to shoot the content as relevant as I can see it, and this is one that my phone is blowing up with almost every day, someone in this very similar scenario. So I'm sure there's a lot of you out there. So I just wanted to let you know that you can always reach out to me. I can see what I can do to help you. Aside from that, if you are looking at purchasing a new build, hopefully I can steer you away from making that decision and avoiding a headache in the future. But like always, guys, anything you want to know, please put it in the comments below, and I'll see you next week.